Guys, we're back here about a week later working on the Cobra. We got our tool here for stopping this gear. So that guy's gonna stop this gear from moving. Then on the other side, we got our socket for putting on here. As you can see, you don't get very much room. So I'm gonna make sure that the sprocket doesn't need to be hit in more. But basically what we're gonna do is put this guy on here with a torque wrench the other side. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna have that socket with a torque wrench, then I'm gonna put a socket on this guy, and I'm gonna use the torque wrench to set it to 80 foot-pounds. It says you're supposed to use a digital torque wrench to see when it would come loose, essentially, because that's what we want that point to be, right at 80 foot-pounds. However, all I got is the standard one, so we're gonna use a standard torque wrench. Let's get set up here. Doing throttle open, do 20 kicks. We're at just over 105 pounds of compression, so that is perfect. What I looked up was 110 was a fresh rebuild, and 20% lower than that, so like 85, 90 would mean that you need to do a rebuild. To get this brake up, you're gonna want an 8mm Allen. Gonna leave it like that for a second. Pull our Kickstarter off. I don't believe. Here's the inside of our clutch cover. Looks like at some point it might have got a gasket kit. Not seeing any metal shavings, and that's our kickstart gear. Then on the inside of here, things are looking pretty dang good. I don't see any chunks. The teeth look good. So this is our mechanism that we need to look at right here. This guy hooks up to the end of the front sprocket, and through their website you can buy a socket that goes here and a device that jams in here to stop this gear from moving, and then you can adjust the centrifugal clutch. So I guess we're looking pretty good there. We're just gonna need to order those parts. Like I said, we're gonna need to order new reeds. Also, we're gonna order the new bolts for the back axle, because that shouldn't have been moving like that, and I pulled a couple out. They're just completely missing the threads. All right, so we found our master link right here. We're gonna grab a screwdriver. All right, got our master link off. Got this little piece off. Now we can push it through like that. Wow, these need to be greased. But so basically you have this piece, then you had this piece went on the other side of the chain, and then the master lock slid onto both of them. Gonna assemble it all back together so we have it. But we can pull the chain off, pull that front, get the circlip off on the front, get the front sprocket off, and then we can adjust the clutch correct. While we got the chain off, we're gonna take off this rear axle because we need to fix this sprocket and the bolts there. It's gonna be a 3/4, and let's see. Oh, it's not even that tight. It's kind of nice. All right, so we are going to go ahead and pull this circlip off and pull the sprocket off. just because we can't get the special socket to seat right on this without doing that. And also, as you guys know, we have to replace these bolts, so we're gonna have to take it up off anyway. We're gonna get the chain off and the sprockets off now. Our little clip ring off. Now we can slide our front sprocket right off, and we can see how much easier we can get the correct tool on there. It's kind of hard to do with one hand. Oh, and it's spinning. Once you have the front sprocket off, you can see you get a lot more room to work with, and you can really get that thing on there good. All right, let's get this tightened. All right, guys, we're back here at the Cobra. I just realized that my camera was not recording when I actually had the torque wrench on here. So basically, I had in the clutch side, I had that red gear, this guy locked in there, and I tightened the main bolt on the clutch side until I could use a torque wrench, righty-tighty or lefty-loosey, at 80 foot-pounds is when it slipped. That's how I tightened the bolt on the centrifugal clutch. Just remember, the bolt on that side, it is counterclockwise threaded, so turning it left means tightening it. Next step here, we got that all buttoned up. We got our case back on, and we did install a little bit of gasket maker around the gasket, so we let that sit overnight, so that should be good. We got our new drain plug. We are now to the rear wheel. I used a tap and drilled these out, rethreaded them, and got the correct heavy-duty grade bolts from Home Depot, and we're gonna try and slap the sprocket and rear wheel back on, and then try to get the first start up. So we got the wheel off. We're gonna take out these remaining 3 and check out what's going on with this play. Just pull them out, and here are 3 bolts. See, the threads are decent on some of them, but see, you can tell how the thick, like it just lost the threads there. This guy looks horrible. He has no threads. And then this one actually looks somewhat decent, but you can tell on the inside these are looking rough. So we're gonna get those re-tapped, and we're gonna get 4 new bolts for that. So we're back here, and we got our bolts to hold the sprocket back to the wheel. I initially got 3/4. They need to be 1/2 inch. Otherwise, you need washers, and it's just wrong. So we're gonna put a little bit of Loctite on the threads, because obviously we do not want these coming off. And this is the medium strength Loctite, so it can still be removed by a hand tool. So we're just gonna get them all Loctited and in there, and then we will tighten them up. All right, now that we got our bolts locked down with a little bit of blue medium strength Loctite, we're gonna get the whole rear end reassembled and get that axle bolt on. Slide our brake caliper on. Grab your axle bolt. We did re-lube that axle bolt, so it's definitely going on easier than it came off. Grab the hammer. All right, time for the nut and washer. All right, we're gonna get our chain on now. All right, so we got our chain matched up here. We're gonna grab, this is all 3 pieces, so we're gonna take off our clip first, set that aside, pop the, I don't know what you wanna call it, the backer off, come through the back side, push it all the way through, put our washer on all the way, grab our master clip, this is on this way. All right, we got our chain to where we like it. We go ahead and lock up this axle nut. A little bit of play. Got our axle nut nice and tight. Obviously, since it's a centrifugal clutch, it's not going to free freely like it's in neutral. So we're good to go there. So our last step is going to be filling up, 300 milliliters of the clutch oil or gear oil. Cobra recommends their clutch milk, they called it. After a little bit of research, I found it was very similar to 80W90 gear oil. So we're gonna run that, save a little bit of money, and should be relatively the same. So we're gonna get some oil dumped in the sucker. Guys, so we got our oil in the bike, we got our rear axle bolts fixed, we adjusted the clutch, so all our known issues are fixed. We have ensured we have good spark, we have ensured we have good compression at just about 105 psi compression, which is right in spec for good and not needing a rebuild. We have cleaned the carb. When we cleaned the carb, we did notice that the pilot and the main jet was clogged badly. The choke jet was good, but we got it all back together and cleaned up. Now it's time to see if she lives. Let's get you set up. All right, so we turn the fuel petcock on, and we have the choke on. I'm gonna turn the choke on here. Petcock's on, choke is on. Let's see what she can do. Clutch is adjusted pretty good. The rear wheel just spinning a bit when it's lifted up. Let her warm up here. She hasn't been ran in months, so. Let's set it on the stand, on the choke, and see if it revs out. We're gonna let it warm up for a minute here. We've been letting her run here for a good bit. She's running pretty good. I do wish that clutch was adjusted a little bit better, but for now it's gonna do. Let's see how she revs out.